Back when I just graduated, I didn't have much money, so I could only rent a place with others. When I learned that all 7 of my roommates were girls, I felt a wave of anxiety in my heart. I was hesitant. However, I couldn't resist the lure of the cheap rent. A 4-bedroom, 2-living-room apartment with a balcony in the south of the city costs $1,200 a month. This price is practically a dream in this city. I checked it 3 times. I even thought it might be a scam. The agent confidently said it was really cheap. Since there are several roommates, we settled on this price. I probed a bit more to ask what the situation was. The agent chuckled. They are all legitimate working young adults. They are of high quality, so you can rest easy. He didn't specify the gender, and I didn't bother to ask. That was my first mistake. I figured the more, the merrier. Everyone goes about their lives without bothering each other. Just tough it out. It was only on moving day. I was standing at the door with my suitcase. I noticed 7 pairs of high heels neatly lined up in the shoe cabinet, 3 pairs of sneakers, 2 pairs of cozy slippers, and a pair of cotton slippers featuring anime girls. Not one of them belonged to a man. I turned my head slowly to glance at the hallway. There was an emergency exit sign at the end of the hallway. I thought seriously for 3 seconds about whether I should run. In just 3 seconds, the door swung open from the inside. The woman who opened the door looked to be around 26 or 27. She was wearing a black shirt. Her hair was tied back neatly. She looked like a surgical knife that had just been taken out of the freezer. She gave me a once-over. I still vividly remember that gaze. It felt like she was scrutinizing a mouse that had wandered into a cat caf. She seemed to be deciding whether to take care of it right then and there. So, you are the new guy, huh? What is your name? It should be on the contract. He cut me off and switched his shoes. He gestured toward a pair of blue disposable slippers by the door. The brand new plastic packaging is still intact. Clearly, this was set up for me ahead of time, but the way he prepared these slippers doesn't feel like a warm welcome for a new roommate, but rather a warning. Don't mess up my floor. He walked in, turning around as he did. The sound of high heels echoed on the floor. Each click seemed to say, "Cut the small talk." That was my first encounter with Liu Ru Yan. It wasn't until later that I found out she was the co-landlord of this shared apartment. She was a director at an internet firm, the acknowledged big sister of the shared apartment. But at that moment, I had just one thought. The aura radiating from this woman. That is enough to run 3 funeral homes. There are 5 girls sitting on the living room sofa, each in a different pose. One girl with short hair wearing a sports tank top. She is doing bicep curls with dumbbells. Her arm muscles are more defined than mine. She looked at me and flashed a big smile. "Oh, here comes a guy. How many kilograms can you handle? Is 20 kilograms all right?" "That works." He moved the dumbbell to his other hand. Better than the last candidate who came for the interview. That dude can't even lift a water cooler. Meet Bai Ning Bing, the fitness coach. I found out later, he wasn't actually testing my strength. She was genuinely checking if I could help her with the protein powder. A little girl was curled up in the corner of the sofa. She had an iPad cradled in her arms. She looked like she could just disappear into the cushion. I gave her a friendly nod. He held the iPad up to shield his face. On the iPad screen, there's a half-drawn illustration. It's a plump, round cat. Meet Shen Yuchu. She's a freelance illustrator. She suffers from severe social anxiety. For the entire following 2 weeks, the longest thing he said to me was, "It's okay to attack." Sitting by the window is a girl dressed to the nines. She's sipping coffee, her gaze at me, exuding an air of innate superiority. It feels as if I'm not the one moving in. But it's like I'm applying for the housekeeper position, asking you where I should stay. The agent mentioned, it's the smallest room at the back, the one partitioned off from the storage room. She casually mentioned that the soundproofing isn't great, so I'm staying next door. If you snore, I'll have to lodge a complaint. I don't snore at all. It would be best if I just blend into the rich girl, like running away from home to experience life this way. With just one phone call, he could purchase an entire building. Yet he chooses to live in a shared apartment. His reason is to experience the joy of being an ordinary person. I can't say for sure whether he actually experienced it. However, he did manage to experience the woes of ordinary people. For example, he struggles to get to the bathroom. Across the coffee table sits a gentle girl with glasses. She is grading some papers. She glances up and gives me a smile. "Don't worry, everyone here gets along just fine." He took a moment to pause. Most of the time, Li Xia works as a counselor at a university. He was the only normal one in the shared apartment. As it turned out, his normalcy was just a facade. He was the biggest gossip lover in the group. and he did so quietly. I glanced around. Aren't there supposed to be 7 roommates? How did we all fit into this 4-bedroom, 2-living-room place? Li Xia explained with a cheerful smile. I, He Ruyan, live in the master bedroom. Ningbing and Rong Yu stay in the 2nd bedroom. It is a spacious room with a balcony. Su Baizhou, Shen Yuchu, and Yu Changshe are all sharing 3 beds. As for you, you are just the storage room. What about the other 2? Su Baizhou is gaming in the room. Li Xia mentioned that she hasn't left the house for 3 days. Yi Changshe is taking a nap. Bai Ningbing adds that he usually gets up around 4 in the afternoon. It is currently 11 o'clock in the morning. I quietly took note of these 2 pieces of information. I felt an added layer of unease about the impending shared living experience. Liu Ru Yan stepped out of the room. She held a stack of papers in her hand. This wasn't a poetic response. He set the papers down on the coffee table. It thudded dully. This is the shared rental agreement containing 37 clauses. Feel free to look it over and sign now. I picked it up and browsed through it. First, the common area is cleaned daily on a rotating schedule. The duty schedule is posted on the fridge. No excuse is valid for avoiding this duty. Item 7 states that bathroom use is by appointment only. During the morning, peak hours from 7 to 8:30, each person is allowed a maximum of 15 minutes. If you exceed the time limit, a fine of 5 yuan will be imposed. It's a bit tough, but I can understand. Item 15 deals with the partition management of the fridge. Everyone must have their own section and cannot conduct a monthly inspection of the physical items. Please label with your name and the date. If not eaten within 3 days, it will be treated as a public resource. This one is quite interesting. According to Article 21, loud noise in public areas is prohibited after 11 p.m. Those who violate this will be held responsible for economic sanctions on everyone's breakfast. The next day, according to Article 25, the kitchen must be restored to its original condition within 30 minutes after use. This includes the range hood, stove, and sink. You can cook, but you can also act like it was never done. This wording makes me feel like someone has made an offense before. Article 28. The air conditioning temperature in shared spaces should be consistently set to 26 degrees. Unauthorized adjustments are not permitted. In case of any objections, please submit a written request. Adjustments can only occur after being approved by a vote from all members. It's a voting system, just to decide the air conditioning temperature. This isn't just a shared rental. It's a demonstration of democracy in action. Article 30. Guests of the opposite sex need to be reported in the group 24 hours beforehand. Overnight stays are also prohibited. Article 31. Co-renting. Members are not allowed to form any relationships that go beyond being roommates. I glanced up at Liu Ru Yan. She returned my gaze with an expressionless face. Make sure to pay attention to Article 31. Noting it and actually remembering it are 2 different matters. Remembering it and actually acting on it are also 2 different matters. I put my signature on the last page. It felt like I wasn't signing a rental agreement, but rather a contract selling myself. Bai Ningbing leaned in and whispered to me, "Don't worry, in the previous version of the agreement, there were 52 articles. This is already the shortened version. I don't see this as any kind of consolation. During my first week after moving in, I felt like a spy. Get up at 6:45 a.m. Get all cleaned up before 7. Save the bathroom for the ladies during the morning rush hour. Keep the kitchen spotless while preparing breakfast. Leave no traces behind. Like I had never existed. Bump into my roommate in the hallway. Make eye contact, nod, and smile. I walk briskly without making any stops, especially when I run into Bai Ningbing right after her shower, wrapped in a bath towel. The speed at which I can turn my neck is fast enough to compete in gymnastics. When I get back to my little room in the evening, I close the door, read books, and put on my headphones, trying to keep a low profile. I have a very clear goal set for myself, to be a qualified invisible person. On the 3rd day, I bumped into the freshly woken Su Baizhou. She drifted out of her room, wearing pajamas. Her gaze was blank, just like a walking zombie. As he walked past me, he completely failed to notice me. It wasn't that he was ignoring me. He genuinely didn't see me. His eyes were wide open, but his soul was clearly still snoozing in bed. He headed straight into the bathroom. 3 seconds later, a scream echoed from inside. So Bai Ningbing is actually in there taking a shower. I was standing in the hallway, just listening. The bathroom door burst open with a bang. Su Baizhou rushed out, rolling in a panic. Bai Ningbing shouted from inside. Su Baizhou, are you blind or something? The door wasn't locked. Can't you even see that? Su Baizhou leaned against the wall, finally regaining his composure. I thought there was no one around. You think that every single time. I quietly went back to my room. From now on, I decided to knock on the door 3 times before using the bathroom. On the 5th day, an even more thrilling thing happened. At 3 a.m., the whole apartment was jolted awake by a scream. That was Liu Ruyan's voice, except for Su Baizhou, who was fast asleep, and Yi Chen Shui, who was lost in meditation with noise-canceling headphones on. The others hurried out of their rooms to see. Liu Ruyan was standing on the sofa in the living room, pointing at the corner with a pale expression. A southern cockroach, approximately 2 centimeters long. It was leisurely resting in the corner of the wall. Its antennae twitched. As if to say hello, Bai Ningbing stepped forward and squashed it with her foot. The entire process took less than 3 seconds. Liu Ruyan stood on the sofa for another 10 seconds before finally coming down. She adjusted her pajamas. She cleared her throat. She scanned the room. All the roommates who saw this scene. Nobody is allowed to spill the beans. I promise, I won't. Li Xia smiled and said. Meanwhile, she was rapidly typing on her phone behind her back. I found out about it later. She shared this in her close friends group chat. The caption read, "The iceberg melting in real-time JPG." This plan fell apart completely on the 8th day. It was a Saturday. The incident was triggered by some system upgrade on the delivery platform. The whole area went down by 2 p.m. Su Baizhou burst out of the room. This is the first time I've seen him in person. He had a head of messy, long black hair. His dark circles were even darker than a panda's. He wore an oversized t-shirt that said, "Don't talk to me." She dashed into the living room barefoot, holding her phone up. Her voice was filled with a sense of impending doom. The takeout order had fallen apart. Xiao Rongyu was applying nail polish. Try contacting another platform. Everything else has fallen apart. It is all a mess. Let's head out for a meal. It is raining heavily outside. Everyone turns to look out the window. Indeed, it is pouring down rain. It is the kind of rain that will leave you soaked in just 5 seconds. Bai Ningbing suggested, I can go out and buy it in the rain. Last time, you went out in the rain to get something. You came back with a cold that lasted a week. Your sneezes shook the whole building, Xiao Rongyu said. You've shaken my face mask to bits. It's just a coincidence, but it's the truth, Shen Yuchu murmured softly. I've got half a bag of chips left. Who am I supposed to share half a bag of chips with? Su Bai let out a near wail. I've only had a pack of spicy strips since last night. There must be something in the fridge. Bai Ningbing headed over to the fridge. She opened it and took a quick look around. She opened it and glanced around. There is half a cabbage and 4 eggs, a block of tofu that has been sitting there for who knows how long, and 3 bottles of sparkling water from Xiao Rongyu. Don't touch the sparkling water. Xiao Rongyu didn't even look up and said it was a no-go. 7 girls exchanged glances. The atmosphere descended into a silence reminiscent of survival on a deserted island. I didn't want to reveal myself at first, but Su Baizhou looked at me with a gaze that seemed like he was about to starve in the wild. He gave me a look as if he were about to starve. That gaze is just too powerful. I'll take care of it. All eyes turned to me simultaneously. Shen Yuchu even peeked out from behind the cushion and asked, Can you cook? Bai Ningbing was skeptical but said, I can cook a bit. It turns out that saying I can cook a little was my biggest success in life. I thinly sliced half a cabbage for a dish. I prepared a cold dressing. I used 4 eggs, 2 of which went into egg drop soup. The other 2 were fried into golden fried eggs. I diced that block of tofu into small cubes. I whipped up some teriyaki tofu, using the last bit of soy sauce and sugar. I dug out half a carrot and a handful of scallions from the fridge corner. I julienned the carrot and stir-fried it for a quick side dish. I topped the egg drop soup with scallions for garnish. I whipped up 4 dishes and a soup in just 20 minutes. Su Bai porridge was the first to grab the chopsticks. He grabbed a piece of teriyaki tofu and froze for 2 seconds. Then he laid down the chopsticks. He turned to me with a serious look and said, From today, you're my dear bro. Thanks. Bai Ningbing buried his head and downed 2 bowls of rice. Were you a chef? Back on the 10th? No, I just cooked it myself. If that is the case, what do you think of the takeout I usually eat? His smile was modest as he only filled half a bowl, but I noticed him sneakily, adding teriyaki tofu 3 times. The 3rd time, Bai Ningbing caught him in the act. Didn't you mention that you don't eat soy products? I am making an exception today. He melted away, yet his expression stayed unchanged. It is crucial to have a balanced diet. Li Xia finished an entire bowl with a smile. He didn't say anything, but from that smile, I could sense 4 words, the show is on. Shen Yuchu remained silent the whole time. However, he ate 2 bowls of rice. 2 bowls. I can't believe where he fit them in that little body. The only one missing from the dinner table was Lu Ruyan, his sister Ruyan. Not going to eat, I asked her, and she replied that she wasn't hungry. Li Xia mentioned that she had lunch. She had a meal replacement shake for lunch. Bai Ningbing let out a scoff. Can you really call that eating? I paused for a moment. I made myself a bowl of egg drop soup and some cold shredded cabbage. I put it on the stove and covered it with a plate. Nobody noticed this little action, or at least I thought no one noticed. That evening, I called my college friend, He Chang. Hey Chang, I have a bit of a situation. What's going on? I mentioned that all 7 of my roommates are girls. The line went silent for 5 seconds. Can you repeat that? 7 girls? Another silence lingered for 3 seconds. Number 10. Listen to me. His tone suddenly turned very serious. It's like fishing right now. You're like a fish. You've been thrown into a pond full of bait. It looks like there are advantages all around. But if you casually take the bait, you'll end up dead. I never intended to take any bait, and that is the point. He got more and more excited as he talked. What do you intend to do? Are you going to sink to the bottom, or pretend to be dead? Are you trying to make all the bait think you are not a fish? I am not a fish in the first place. Just maintain this mindset. He took a moment to pause. But you just said you opposed one of them. But that is because it is over. He sighed. You've taken the bait. Cooking is like fishing. Do you know about the world of fishing? Feeding is the first step in establishing a dependency relationship. I hung up the phone. Some people's advice can be more dangerous to heed than to ignore. I got up to go to the bathroom at 2 o'clock that night. As I walked past the kitchen, I spotted someone. It was Lu Ruyan, standing by the stove. She was in a noticeably oversized nightgown, her hair let loose. She was a far cry from the decisive woman she was during the day. He was having the cold mixed cabbage I had left, and he was really focused on eating it. It was that kind of seriousness, as if he thought no one was watching, completely dropping all pretenses. He was even taking small sips of the egg drop soup. Once he was done, he let out a soft sigh. How can I even describe that look? It was just like a cat curled up by the heater. He looked so satisfied that his eyes were almost closing. Then he turned to look at me. The atmosphere became tense. He held a bowl while I leaned against the doorframe. We just stared at each other for about 3 seconds. I could see his ears turning red right before my eyes. I didn't see a thing. I told him. He really didn't see anything. No one will remember this incident. What matter? I put on a puzzled look. I just got up to use the restroom. He looked at me for 2 seconds. It seemed like he was trying to figure out if I was genuinely clueless or just pretending. Finally, he gently carried the bowl and turned back to his room. He paused after taking 2 steps, facing away from me. His voice was soft, and the soup was nice. Then, he hurriedly walked away. It was like he was fleeing from a crime scene. I found myself standing there, realizing that this Ice Queen director is actually not that terrifying. At least she's willing to acknowledge that the soup is nice. After that dinner, everything began to get out of hand. Subaijo started showing up at the kitchen door, on a schedule, like a stray cat waiting for a meal. It just stands there, silently, giving me a look that seems to ask what I'm up to today. Shen Yuchu still doesn't talk much, but he began to quietly sit at the dining table, drawing while I cooked. One day, I took a quick look at his iPad. I discovered that he had drawn a picture. There was a little person in an apron busy in the kitchen. A circle of chubby cats surrounded him. I suspected that the little person in the apron was actually me. Those cats are probably them. But I didn't ask, worried he might get anxious. Bai Ningming was the first person to officially ask me for something. My treadmill broke down on the 10th. Could you take a look? I'll give it a try. I took it apart to check it out. It turns out the conveyor belt was just loose. I just adjusted the tension screw, and it was good to go. Bai Ningbing was watching me fix it. Her eyes were shining brighter and brighter. You can fix this as well. It is not hard. The screws were just loose. What about the air conditioning? My room's air conditioner is leaking. Let me check it out. It might just be a clogged drain. How about the shower head? The water level is decreasing. It's probably just lime scale. Just disassemble it and soak it in vinegar. Bai Ningbing fell silent for 3 seconds. Aren't you supposed to be able to fix anything? It is not a joke or anything. Yi Chengxie yelled down the hallway. Hurry out. Didn't you say your computer tower was making a buzzing sound? One of the doors opened. A girl with darker circles under her eyes than plain white kanji peeked out, sporting a hairstyle that resembles a bird's nest. His eyes are as sharp as a knife. It is my first time meeting Ye Chengsen. He shot a glance at me. What issues do you notice when fixing computers. The fan's loud. The cooling isn't doing its job. The inside of the case is covered in dust. That means it's time for a cleanup, and you should also change the thermal paste. So you know how to replace thermal paste too. His tone carried a touch of surprise. He quickly went back to his poker face and said, "Come in." His room looked like a cyberpunk cave. There are 3 monitors. The lights on the keyboard lit up the whole wall. The table was stacked with empty cans of energy drinks. The curtains are completely blackout. The room is perpetually dark. There is a military cot in the corner. The blanket on it is all bunched up. You can tell that sleep is just something squeezed in between work. I am squatting down to take apart the computer case. As soon as I open the side panel, a cloud of dust hit me right in the face. It made me cough a few times. How long has it been since I last kissed someone? I haven't even touched this computer since I bought it. It has been 3 years. I was at a loss for words. This computer has such a rich internal ecosystem. It is time to write a paper. The dust on the fan blades has become felt-like. There are probably generations of spiders living between the graphics card and the motherboard. He leaned back in the chair, watching my actions. He suddenly said, his hands steady, after taking a sip of energy drink, "Have you served in the military?" I've always loved disassembling things since I was a child. People who take things apart can be divided into 2 types. One type can't reassemble what they've taken apart. The other type improves it after taking it apart. I tend to be the former most of the time, so be careful. Now, as it turns out, I was the latter this time. After I cleaned the dust from the computer and replaced the thermal paste, the temperature dropped straight by 15 degrees. Yi Chengshe looked at the temperature monitoring software for quite some time. Then, she turned to look at me. Her expression remained expressionless, but her tone carried a hint of extremely subtle approval. From that day forward, sometimes, Yi Chengshi messages me at around 2 or 3 a.m. The messages usually say that the kitchen light is flickering, the water heater is making sounds, or she asks, if you are free tomorrow, I want to install an additional memory stick. Sometimes, I wonder if he genuinely needs help, or if he is just testing how fast I respond to requests. So, in just 2 weeks, I went from being a nervous, new roommate to the chief chef of this shared apartment, the maintenance technician, on-site, tech support, humanoid alarm clock, Subai Porridge, asks me to knock on his door 3 times each morning. Otherwise, he could sleep until the afternoon. Also, a psychological trash can. There was also a small incident worth noting that happened in between. One night, I was cooking in the kitchen. Xiao Rongyu came in and took a look at the scrambled eggs with tomatoes in my pan. "Why are the eggs you fried so soft?" "I fry mine until they're rubbery and cook them on a lower heat." "When should I take the eggs out if they're half cooked?" "You can reach out to check the temperature above the pot." "Why should I check the temperature? I'm not a thermometer." "Just remember to add the eggs when the oil starts to smoke a little. Count to 15 before taking them out. That is way too precise." "Are you cooking or conducting a chemistry experiment?" "Cooking is basically a chemistry experiment." Yi Chengshi's voice suddenly came from the doorway. At its core, it is a controllable process involving the Maillard reaction and the denaturation of proteins. She was carrying a cup of iced Americano. She passed by the kitchen with a blank face, floating towards her own room. Xiao Rongyu and I looked at each other. Was he okay? "You've been here longer than me. What do you think?" "I am not certain, but last time, he helped me find out the IP address of a person who insulted me online. So I've decided not to comment." This response is packed with wisdom for survival. The final identity. The emotional dump is something that has melted into what I've been given. She got into an argument with her family. She sat on the balcony, sulking. I wasn't going to pay attention to Rule 31 about keeping my distance. But then she started crying. And it was the kind of crying where she kept saying she was okay. But tears were flowing down her cheeks. I quietly poured her a cup of hot water and was getting ready to leave. "Don't go," she sniffed. "I haven't told you to leave yet. Just stay there. Don't say anything and don't look at me." "So, am I just standing here as a backdrop? I need someone alive next to me. Otherwise, I'll feel pretty pathetic, right?" I was just standing on the balcony, watching the lights in the building across from me turn off one by one. After about 10 minutes, he finally spoke. "You asked why people need to listen to their parents. Because they brought us up, but what if they raised us just to control us? That question is too heavy to handle." I am hesitant to pick up the phone. I believe most parents don't intend to control. They simply don't know how to express their love. She remained silent for quite a while. "You speak differently from the guys I know." "What do you mean by different?" "They either tell you not to cry, or they suggest to think positively. You are the first one to just offer me a glass of water and keep quiet. Because I also don't know what to say, and that is okay. She dabbed at her tears. Suddenly, she returned to her proud expression. Okay, you can leave now. But this glass of water isn't bad. Make it a latte for me tomorrow. I know there is a coffee shop right downstairs from your place. I am talking about the one you make. I feel there are some points in this person's logic that are debatable, but I didn't argue against it. But I didn't dispute it. I had a nagging feeling that disputing women's opinions in this shared house is a risky move. What really made me aware that things had spiraled completely out of control was an incident that occurred in the third week. That day, I was working late and dragged my exhausted self back home. I opened the door to see the living room, lights on, and there were 7 people playing games, sitting on the carpet with their legs crossed. I'm munching on a cookie I baked earlier. Shen Yuchu is curled up in the corner, sketching. At my feet, there's a cup of flower tea I made. Bai Ningbing is stretching. The background music is from his personal workout playlist. I'm melting away while putting on a face mask. The face mask is a luxury brand he smuggled out from home. Li Xia is engrossed in a book. She seems to be relishing a peaceful life. Yi Changshe is surprisingly in the living room. He was perched on the armrest of the sofa, working on his laptop. The code on the screen reflected a bluish-green glow on his face. Li Ruyan was seated at the dining table, sorting through some documents. There was a cup of black coffee sitting in front of her. I paused at the door for a moment, taken aback. Bai Ningbing was the first to notice my return, asking if I was hungry. There are some dishes you left in the fridge. We warmed them up for you. Su Bai. Joe kept his head down. The microwave ran for 2 minutes. It could be a little dry. Shen Yuchu whispered. I added a bit of water, so it should be okay. Yi Changshe kept her eyes on the screen. You have a new pair of slippers on the second shelf of your shoe cabinet. I casually picked them up from the supermarket downstairs, the day you moved in. Those ugly slippers should really be thrown out. Who bought those? Aa's Xiao Rongyu pulled up a corner of the face mask. Those 10 yuan plastic slippers of yours are just too ugly to look at. Li Xia smiled at me. She didn't say anything. I glanced at Li Ruyan, but she didn't look up. She tapped the keyboard a couple of times. Her tone was flat, as if she were casually saying, "It is a nice day today. Make sure to wash the bowl after eating. Tomorrow, it is your turn for duty." I swapped my shoes and headed into the kitchen. In the microwave were the braised eggplant and steamed egg I made for lunch. Beside it, there was an extra bowl of white rice. I have no idea who steamed the rice, but there's a layer of plastic wrap on top of the rice. The edges are folded neatly. There's only one person in the entire shared apartment who folded the plastic wrap so neatly. Only one person. I carried the bowl and sat down at the dining table. Li Ruyan stood up to pour coffee. When he passed by me, he paused for half a second. Don't eat too late. It's not good for your stomach. And then he left. The speech is very fast, as if it was said unintentionally. I was chewing on the braised eggplant, and suddenly felt that the taste was much better than at noon. Maybe I am hungry. It may also be because this is after I came to this city. For the first time, I truly felt the reality of the words, going home. The surrounding noise is very loud. Su Baizhou is cursing at his teammates while playing games. Bai Ningbing is arguing with Xiao Rongyu about the issue of protein intake. Bai Ningbing is arguing with Xiao Rongyu about the issue of protein intake. Yi Changshe's keyboard clicks incessantly, yet the noise brings a sense of comfort. After I washed the dishes, I passed through the living room where everyone was still gathered, and I said good night. Good night. 7 voices chimed in together, each different. Su Baizhou's voice was the most prominent. Shen Yuchu's voice was the quietest. I couldn't quite hear Li Ruyan's voice, but I noticed her lips move a bit. I went back to my little room. I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling. I could hear Xiao Rongyu's voice on the phone from next door. I can hear someone moving around upstairs. From afar, I can hear cheers as Su Baizhou finally clinches a victory. With a rent of 1,200, I share a 4-bedroom, 2-living-room apartment with 7 female roommates. And then there's me, trying to survive in the midst of it all. This setup sounds completely absurd, yet somehow, I found myself smiling. Then, I shut my eyes and drifted off to sleep. I was jolted awake the next morning by a knock on the door. Upon opening the door, I found Li Ruyan standing there, dressed in her signature black professional attire. She had a serious look on her face. From today on, you will report to a building of Xingchen Technology. How did you find out which company I joined? Because, that is my company. His eyes are even more bitter than black coffee. I am your direct supervisor. I was taken aback for 5 seconds. Are you kidding? Do you think I look like someone who would joke? No, not even a bit. My thoughts are racing, trying to digest this information. Liu Ruyan, my roommate, iceberg, female, director, the one who secretly ate the cold-tossed cabbage in the middle of the night, the one standing on the sofa to avoid the cockroach. It is my direct superior. I have not experienced this in my life before the start of my career. Just mess it up. So you already knew that I was going to join your company. I only found out yesterday when HR sent me the list of new hires. Her expression looks like she is even less willing to accept this fact than I am. The address on your resume is your family's place. I haven't updated it since I moved. So this is fate's arrangement. It is hard to tell from her tone whether she is stating a fact or cursing fate. He inhaled deeply. So from now on, we're adding a new rule. Rule 38. For Rule 38, he pulled out his phone and typed as he spoke. He was likely updating the rules in the shared rental group. You don't know me at work. I don't know you either. We don't have any relationship whatsoever. You mustn't call me sister. Ruyan, you can only refer to me as director. Liu, you can't act like you know me in front of our colleagues. If someone asks where you live, just say it is in the northern part of the city. If anyone asks if you know me, you should say, you've only seen my picture in the onboarding training PPT. It takes 2 hours to drive from the north to the company. This perfectly explains why you always look so tired. His reasoning is unexpectedly flawless. What if we're discovered? He took a moment to think. It won't be found out. She spoke with great confidence. But what he didn't realize was my luck has always been the opposite of his confidence. I recalled what He Chang had said. You've already bitten the hook. Back then, I thought he was just rambling. Now I realize this fish not only took the bait, I got tangled up in a fishing line too. And the person doing the fishing is my boss. The moment I walked out of the shared apartment, I looked back at the building. On the 6th floor balcony, Su Baijiu was watering the plants. Actually, he was pouring cola into the flower pot, because he can't tell the difference between the watering can and his cup. Someone on the 5th floor is hanging up laundry. It's probably Bai Ning. Because there is a line of sports brass hanging on the clothesline. The size is huge, like a flag. The phone just buzzed. In the shared housing group, Liu Ruyan just posted the 38th update. The responses in the group came from Bai Ningbing's co-workers. Ha ha ha, Xiao Rongyu is laughing so hard. This is such a clicker script, Su Baijiu. So on the 10th, you need to call Ruyan's sister at work. Director Liu is eager to see. Shen, Yuchu, sent a facepalm meme. Yi Changshe suggests you check the company's surveillance. I can remotely retrieve the information to help me gossip about Lixia. Ye Changshe, could you calm down a little? Yi Changshe, I'm quite calm. From a technical standpoint, it is totally feasible. Liu Ruyan. Yi Changshe, the new 39th rule bans illegal access to any corporate intranet. What about legal access? Then, that is not allowed either. Liu Ruyan. All right, Yi Changshe, I'll just check the cameras in public areas. There was silence in the group chat for 3 seconds. Liu Ruyan, here comes the 40th rule. No monitoring of co-renters' external behavior is allowed in any form. I'm glued to the screen, checking the count of agreements in this group. It is increasing at an astonishing rate. I took a deep breath and locked my phone. I walked towards the subway station. On the way, He Chang sent me a voice note that was a full 58 seconds long. Basically, he encountered a girl he liked at work. It is like hooking a big fish when you are fishing. You shouldn't rush to reel it in. You have to give it some slack and let it swim around. But I'll wait until he gets tired first. I dragged the voice message to the very last second. At the very last second, he said, basically, there is nothing wrong with enjoying music. He Chang has given me the greatest inspiration, which is, regardless of what life challenges he encounters, he can always connect it back to fishing. Moreover, every time he goes fishing, he comes back empty-handed. This really shows the issue clearly. It is packed with people on the subway. I found myself caught between 2 middle-aged men, inhaling the combined scent of breakfast and aftershave. My phone buzzed again. It was a message from Liu Ruyan. Just for me. When you get to the company, just relax. Just act naturally. After a 2-second pause, another message came through. Seriously, just relax. You tend to touch your nose when you get nervous. Clearly, I instinctively touched my nose. Then, let go of your hand. She even noticed this. A new day starts. I have a strong feeling. Things are only going to get crazier. I almost revealed myself on my first day. HR showed me around the office. As we reached the corner on the 3rd floor, he said, This is the office of our director, Liu Ruyan. You will report to him directly from now on. Liu Ruyan is making a phone call behind the glass door. At the moment, he saw me. He gave a light tap on the table with his fingers. If I hadn't met him in the shared apartment, using the same gesture to express, "You should better keep quiet," I probably wouldn't have noticed. The HR representative knocked on the door. Manager Liu, the new hire number 10 joins today. Liu Ruyan ended the call. Get up and come stand in front of me. His expression is worlds apart from how he is at home. At home, his coldness is the indifferent kind, the kind that can't be bothered with you. At the company, his coldness is the authoritative kind, the kind that allows me to decide your year-end bonus amount. It is Director Liu, and I've reviewed your impressive resume. Your professional skills are decent, but you have virtually no real project experience. He leafed through the folder in his hand. The tone is quite formal and businesslike. You have 3 months to get it done. Catch up with the team's pace. If you fall behind. He glanced at me. That look says it all. You know what the consequences are. Got it. Head back to your desk. Everything felt completely natural. I nearly believed she truly didn't recognize me anymore. As I stepped out of his office, I noticed a thermos on his desk. That cup looked familiar to me. He used it at home last night to make goji berry tea. The cup had an anime sticker on it from Subai Kanji. It depicted a small cat wearing sunglasses. He thought it was childish and wanted to remove it, but he couldn't remove it cleanly, so he gave up. I bet everyone in the company thinks that they are cold and heartless. What kind of fancy business thermos does Director Liu have? I am the only one who knows there is a cat with sunglasses on it. This secret makes it difficult for me to keep a straight face all day long. This secret makes it difficult for me to keep a straight face all day long. His office is diagonally opposite Liu Ruyan's. There is a glass wall between us. It means I can see him just by looking up. What is worse is that he can see me when he looks up as well. In my first week at work, I was even more cautious than when I lived in a shared apartment. I made a point to sit as far away from him as I could during meetings. He called on me to answer a question, and I replied appropriately. It was neither impressive nor incorrect. My colleagues quickly nicknamed Liu Ruyan the Extinction Master. It is not that he is truly fierce, but rather, it's his management style that is just too meticulous. He can even spot a pixel's deviation in the PPT. If he sees a punctuation mistake in the email, he'll send it back unchanged. Even if the project is half a day late, his gaze becomes like a weapon. My colleague Chen Zi, who started 2 years before me, is quite the veteran. He whispered to me in the break room, "Here is a tip. Keep your distance from General Liu. He actually made a project manager cry last month. Can you believe it? A grown man, 1.8 meters tall, cried like that. It is not just you who knows. Do you know why he is single? It is because no one in the entire company dares to chase after her. Last time, a sales manager from a supplier brought her flowers. She took the flowers to the front desk and said, 'Whose stuff is on my desk? Please remove it within 5 minutes. Otherwise, I'll just throw it away.' I couldn't help but picture him sneaking a midnight snack of cold cabbage. Perhaps he is different when no one is watching." Chenzi looked at me as if to say, "Are you feeling okay? Did you get hazed your first week on the job?" "Not at all. I just have some secrets I can't share. What's really tough is switching roles after work. By day, he's Director Liu at the office. I'm just the newbie. Number 10. There is a clear hierarchy, and everything is businesslike. In the evenings at our shared flat, he becomes Sister Ruyan. I'm Master Shi, the go-to guy for everything. He instructed me to repair the faucet and connect it to the drainage system. He put together the IKEA bookshelf. The most intense feeling of disconnection happened in my second week on the job. During the project meeting at 3 p.m., Liu Ruyan coldly sent my proposal back for revisions. She pointed out the issues, one by one, in front of all 12 team members. Her tone was icy enough to freeze. I maintained a straight face and noted, as agreed, General Liu, I will get it done today. I got back to the shared apartment at 8 p.m. that night. I am in the kitchen, making dinner. Liu Ruyan walked in and grabbed a bottle of yogurt from the fridge. He stood next to me, sipping yogurt while I sliced the potatoes. He suddenly said that today's plan has some issues. I know I am fixing the data model on page 3. There is a fundamental mistake in the formula you are using. I didn't go into that much detail during the meeting. I paused and asked what the mistake was. He picked up my laptop from the dining table. He opened the file and showed it to me. After that, he spent 40 minutes helping me sort out my thoughts. One by one, he explained it in great detail, far more than he did during the daytime meeting. The Liu director who criticized me publicly earlier today is the same person as Liu Ruyan, who is now patiently teaching me how to revise the plan, is the same person as Liu Ruyan, who is now patiently teaching me how to revise the plan. When I finished revising, he had already finished his yogurt. He held the empty bottle in his hand and kept squeezing it. Finish the revisions and get to bed early. Aren't you still up? I still have some work to finish. Wasn't your work just to assist me with the plan revision earlier? Did you get it done while you were at it? She paused for a moment. Surprised. Indeed, while he was assisting me earlier, he also managed to handle his own part with ease. Let me go check it out. He turned and stepped out of the kitchen. He stopped for a moment at the door. The shredded potatoes were cut quite well. This is the second time he complimented my cooking skills at the kitchen door. The first time was soup. This time, it's shredded potatoes. At this pace, in about 3 months, he will have praised all the dishes I made. I suddenly feel a bit excited. Just when I thought things would continue to be smooth like this, a guy named Wang Teng showed up. To be exact, he showed up driving a Porsche. It was Friday night. I stayed late at work until 7. I stepped out of the company gate. I spotted a white Porsche parked at the curb. Next to the car was a man dressed in a suit. He was holding a massive bouquet of red roses. There must have been around 99 of them. I couldn't help but wonder who was so showy. Then, I noticed Liu Ruyan coming out of the company. Her expression was one of someone facing a formidable opponent. It's been a while, Ruyan. The man smiled and approached her. I've mentioned it several times already. There is really no reason for us to meet. Aren't you going to take the flowers? I specially had it airlifted from the Netherlands. Airlifting from the Netherlands is no different from buying from a roadside flower shop for me. Then, we can at least grab a meal. There is a new Michelin restaurant that just opened. What do you mean by inconvenient? Isn't it convenient for you, since you are off work now? Liu Ruyan's expression is becoming increasingly cold, but Wang Teng is clearly the kind of person who becomes more motivated the more he is turned down. He started rambling on and on about something. My dad works with your company. We've known each other since we were little. Like how it is tough for you to be out there all alone. I had planned to take a roundabout way, but Liu Ruyan shot a glance my way, just one look, and that gaze clearly wasn't asking for help. Someone like Liu Ruyan would never look at anyone with a pleading gaze. She would never look at anyone in a pleading way. That gaze seems more like confirmation. Confirm. Whether I am here, then, he did something that still leaves me. It feels magical just to think about it. She walked over, naturally stood beside me. I am sorry. My boyfriend is here to pick me up. My mind went blank for about 0.5 seconds. Wang Teng looked at me, and I looked at her. Liu Ruyan looked ahead. The expression is as calm, as if saying the weather is nice today. Meet Wang Teng. He scanned me from head to toe. His gaze shifted from confusion to contempt. Dressed in basic Uniqlo apparel, with a canvas bag slung over his shoulder, a tired recent graduate who just got off work, in stark contrast to his custom Porsche suit, and the roses flown in from the Netherlands. I must have looked like I just walked out of a dollar store, but Liu Ruyan hooked her arm through mine. His hand feels really cold. We're heading out. First, he said. He pulled me away. We walked about 50 meters. Once we made sure Wang Teng couldn't see us, he let go of my arm. After a few seconds of silence, I said thank you, and he replied, you are welcome, but could you give me a heads up next time, so I can mentally prepare for it? There won't be another time. Are you really convinced? He doesn't seem like someone who would throw in the towel easily. He completely dodged the question. Don't discuss what happened today with anyone in the shared apartment, but we all underestimated just how many coincidences there are in this world. Because just as we were walking side by side to the subway station, someone named Su Baizhou walked right past us. It's not often that he goes out. He was holding a bag of snacks he had just bought. He had music playing in his headphones. He was staring at his phone. As he lifted his head, he noticed me walking alongside Liu Ruyan. Then her mouth gradually formed an O shape. Liu Ruyan noticed him too. The three of them exchanged glances in the middle of the road for about 2 seconds. Su Baizhou slowly lifted his phone to snap a photo. What are you up to? Liu Ruyan's voice, dangerously lowered by an octave. Su Baizhou gave a tentative smile and deleted it. But now, Su Baizhou was moving with a speed I had never witnessed before. I deleted the photo, but the three of us all know about it. It is no longer possible to keep it a secret, because Su Baizhou has a trait. His mouth is quicker than his internet speed. Sure enough, that night I came back to the shared apartment. I opened the door to find 6 people sitting in the living room. They sat orderly, as if it were a trial meeting. Li Xia was sitting in the middle of the sofa. He held a cup of tea in his hand. His smile is warm, but there is a sparkle in his eyes. It is the kind of light I've only seen in nature documentaries. It is the kind of light that shines when a cheetah spots its prey. What is up? Bai Ningbing, with her arms crossed. I just wanted to know who you left with after work today. I glanced at Su Bai. He was huddled in the corner, trying hard to avoid my eyes. The chips he was eating crunched loudly. You are a traitor, Liu Ruoyan. I asked in the room where we had called him. He mentioned that he wouldn't take part in the trial. It is not that he doesn't want to join the chat. His smile was a way of correcting his choice of words. It is nothing. I just happened to bump into someone at the company entrance. Yi Chengshe raised her head from behind the screen. Su Baizhou suggested they walk side by side. They are standing no more than 30 centimeters apart. There seems to be some physical contact. Su Baizhou. I am just stating the facts. Su Baizhou raised both hands. I didn't add any extra details. Who's the guy in the Porsche? It was Bai Ningbing who asked. Wow, the news sure spreads fast. Su Baizhou didn't just take pictures. Clearly, he also did a detailed report on site. Someone who is after Liu Ruoyan. He didn't want to deal with him. I helped to shield a little. Li Xia nodded, keeping her smile. So you're just a shield. Yeah. Just a temporary shield. Temporary. But what happens later? I can't answer that. Shen Yuchu hasn't said anything, but he made a sketch on his iPad. A little figure is holding a shield. Behind the shield, there's a person with a ponytail. It's actually drawn pretty well. I'd rather not comment on Wang Teng. She didn't give up on him this time. She began showing up in all the wrong places. The coffee shop right below the office, the Japanese restaurant that Liu Ruoyan frequently visits. There was even one time she chased him down directly, right at the entrance of our apartment complex. It was a drizzly day. When I got off work and returned, I saw Wang Teng standing there with an umbrella. His Porsche was parked next to the building entrance. The trunk was open, filled with gift boxes. Liu Ruoyan stood behind the glass door in the access control area, watching him. She didn't look angry. Instead, she seemed weary. Did I not mention that you don't even have to glance at me? This is a limited edition. Wang Teng. I don't want to say anything too hurtful. So, what's so great about your boyfriend? What can he offer you? Just look at her. She noticed me as I walked over. She scoffed. Can a month's salary even buy me a tie? That remark really stings. But I've noticed something. He kept his eyes on me when he said that, yet he didn't glance at Liu Ruoyan even once. She couldn't care less about Liu Ruoyan's feelings. What matters to her is winning. She treats Liu Ruoyan like a challenge to overcome. And I'm just that annoying hurdle. I moved closer. You are right. I can't buy your tie. Wang Teng arched an eyebrow. But the fact that she doesn't like you has nothing to do with your tie. His expression shifted. Liu Ruoyan opened the door and walked in. He said to me that I went inside. The door shut behind me. Wang Teng was standing outside. The rain started coming down harder. As they went upstairs, Liu Ruoyan led the way. They didn't say a word. When he reached the door, he pulled out his keys to open it. The door swung open, revealing her standing at the entrance with her back to me. You don't have to cover for me. I know you can take care of it on your own. So why do you still want to? It is just that you look really tired. He didn't turn around, but he lingered at the door for another 3 seconds. Then, he stepped inside. That night, he did something he had never done before. She took the initiative to head into the kitchen. I opened the refrigerator and searched for quite a while. I then turned to Su Baizhou, who was gaming on the couch. Number 10 is probably still working overtime today and hasn't had a meal yet. Who will remind him to grab a bite? Su Baizhou even dropped his game controller. You actually care about him. I am concerned about the well-being of our company staff. He has a proposal due tomorrow. Su Baizhou dragged out his tone. He flashed a knowing smile. What do you mean by that expression? Nothing much. Su Baizhou came to my door and knocked. Sister Ruoyan asked you to dinner on the 10th, but I didn't allow it. I could hear Liu Ruoyan's voice from the living room, but it was already late. Bai Ningbing poked her head out from her room. Sister Ruoyan is urging everyone to eat. Today, the sun is rising from the west. Yi Chengshe posted a message in the group chat. This historic moment should be recorded. Li Xia sent a smiley emoji in response. The melted fish costs 100 yuan within 3 months. Su Baizhou, I have been holding on for 2 months. Bai Ningbing, I held on until before the new year. Liu Ruoyan, what are you holding on to? The group fell silent for a moment. Then, Shen Yuchu sent a cute cat emoji covering its mouth. Liu Ruoyan fell ill on a Thursday night. That day, she worked late into the night before coming back. He went straight to his room as soon as he walked in. He didn't show up in the living room the next morning. There is something fundamentally wrong with this situation. Liu Ruyan was the first person to move into the shared apartment. He would sit at the dining table every day at 7 sharp. He never skips his black coffee. It is precise enough to calibrate clocks. His room door was still closed at 7:20. I hesitated briefly before knocking on the door. When no one answered, I knocked again. There was a muffled voice coming from within. Don't worry about me. That voice sounds too hoarse to be his. Are you not feeling well? I haven't gone to work, and I am going to be late. You should go on ahead. I turned around and took a couple of steps. Then, I returned. Liu Ruyan, can you open the door? After a prolonged silence, the door finally opened. She was leaning against the doorframe, her face pale and her lips chapped. She had a light sheen of sweat on her forehead. I reached out to feel her forehead. You are running a fever, but it is just a low-grade one. Taking some medicine should help. Have you taken any? He didn't reply. So where is the medicine? I have no idea. Maybe I just didn't buy it. A woman who has been living alone for many years. She keeps her life well organized. A woman who has written 37 cohabitation rules. There are no fever-reducing meds at home, because she never allows herself to get sick. Or rather, she never permits herself to be sick. You stay in bed while I go get some medicine. There is no need for anything beyond what is stated in Article 37. You have no control over me. He shot me a glare, but that didn't have any deterrent effect. Because she had such a high fever that her eyes looked vacant, I went out to get some fever medicine, a thermometer, and electrolyte drinks, and a bag of Joe's things. When I came back, she was already wrapped in a blanket, sitting on the bed. The room is neat and organized. Just like him, everything is in its designated place. Even the books on the bedside table are organized by size. But he has a stuffed toy next to his pillow. It is an old rabbit plush toy. Its ears have lost their fur. She noticed me looking at the rabbit and spoke in a hoarse voice. That is a childhood item. Don't look at me. I didn't see anything at all. You've already used that line before. Effective lines can be used repeatedly. He let out a snort, but he didn't have the energy to argue back. I took his temperature, and it was 38.7 degrees. After he took the medicine, I headed to the kitchen to make some porridge. I put a bit of salt in the plain porridge. It was cooked until very soft and mushy. When I ladled it into the bowl, I paused for a bit. I made a smiley face with a spoon on the table. Then, I felt it was a bit too childish. As I brought it in, he had already propped himself up against the pillow. He held the rabbit and slowly sipped the porridge. He bent down and took a sip. It's too bland. You have a fever. It shouldn't be too salty, I know, but it's still bland, she grumbled, as she finished the whole bowl of porridge. I was sitting on the chair beside the bed. I poured a cup of warm water for him. You don't need to watch over me. She passed the bowl to me. I asked for leave from work. Who granted it? She was taken aback for a moment. When did you start to? When you were a bit out of it, just now. I asked if I could take a day off today. You just said, that counts as approval. Even if it wasn't a formal one. He looked at me for a few seconds. Then, he pulled the blanket up. It covered half of his face. The tip of his exposed ear turned red again. You can stay here, but you are not allowed to enter my room more than 3 times. How many times have you done this? This is the 2nd time. You have one last shot. I chuckled a bit. Head out and do the dishes. In the afternoon, she broke her fever. She could finally sit up, but she still felt weak. I was in the living room, working on the plan. His room door was cracked open. Sometimes, he'd step out to grab some water. As he walked past me, could you take a look at my computer screen? The color scheme of the chart on the 7th page is too flashy. Aren't you supposed to be resting? Is it not all right for me to rest my eyes? Resting your eyes typically means you should close them. You are being quite chatty right now. Are you trying to copy me? He let out another grunt. He took his cup of water back to his room. During the evening, others came back, one after another. Subaijo found out that Liu Ruyan was unwell. His first thought was, who's going to cook today? Bai Ningbing gave him a light smack on the back of the head. You can only think about food when someone is sick. I was just checking the dinner plans. I'll handle it. I mentioned that night. I prepared a whole table of dishes. I saved a light meal, just for Liu Ruyan. When I took it in, she was propped up against the headboard, scrolling through her phone. Are you feeling any better today? Much better. She set her phone aside. She glanced at the food on the tray. Is it true? You always save mine. When did this become a thing? Ever since the night you snuck the cold cabbage at midnight. Her expression shifted slightly. You claimed You didn't see anything. I did say that, but I also mentioned that good lines can be used repeatedly. He stayed silent for a moment before picking up his chopsticks and starting to eat. The evening light streamed in through the window. The warm orange, red light filters in. It falls gently on her tousled hair. She has a quiet way of eating. She's nothing like the decisive director Liu from the day, nor does she resemble the cold, domineering sister in the shared apartment. Just an ordinary girl, a bit fragile from being unwell. Why are you being so nice to me on the 10th? This question caught me off guard. I thought for a moment and said it's because you're my roommate. She shot me a glance. There was something in that gaze that I couldn't quite describe. But in that instant, my heart raced. My roommate softly repeated that word. Then she looked down and went back to eating, without saying anything more. I quietly left the room and softly shut the door behind me. In the living room, Li Xia was sitting on the couch, engrossed in a book. She didn't raise her head, but her hand flipping through the pages stopped for a moment. Number 10. You know what the 31st clause states, don't you? I know, you remember, right? Yes. He flipped a page calmly, his voice steady. That is good. I know what needs to be done, but I still have to take action. I am not certain if he is just reminding me to play by the rules, or if he's suggesting something else. But knowing Li Xia's personality, she's likely doing both. In the days that followed, something happened, or rather, a series of events unfolded that made everyone in this shared apartment uneasy. Xiao Rongyu's childhood friend showed up, a refined man with gold-rimmed glasses. He drove a discreet Mercedes and buzzed the doorbell downstairs. Xiao Rongyu noticed his expression change, suddenly through the window. Oh no, oh no, oh no. How did he manage to find this place? Who is Bai Ming, asking about Xu Chen. My family set me up with a kind of blind date. Aren't you the one who ran away from home? Yeah. So he shouldn't be able to find this place. The doorbell rang once more. Xiao Rongyu spun around twice. Suddenly, he grabbed my arm. Can you do me a favor, on the 10th? Just act like you are my boyfriend, please. Just for 5 minutes. I didn't even get a chance to say no. He already hooked his arm around mine and pulled me downstairs. Xu Chen had a very calm expression when he saw us come out together. Rongyu. This is my boyfriend. Xiao Rongyu clamped my arm even tighter. She smiled radiantly. We have a great relationship, so just go back and let my parents know that I have a boyfriend. No need to set anything else up. Xu Chen adjusted his glasses. He glanced at me, and then at Xiao Rongyu. The boyfriend you're talking about is the same one Liu Ruyan mentioned. The atmosphere became tense. What about Xiao Rongyu? Last week, Xu Chen shared a post on Wang Teng's Moments. He mentioned that Liu Ruyan was dating a broke boyfriend. When I saw the photo, it looked like this guy. Information spreads among the rich heirs much faster than I could have ever imagined. Just then, Liu Ruyan returned from work. She approached the entrance of the apartment building with a briefcase in hand. She witnessed the following scene. Xiao Rongyu was linking her arm with mine. I looked completely innocent. Xu Chen was smiling next to me. Liu Ruyan paused for a second. Just 1 second. Then she walked past us with a blank expression. She swiped her card to get through the security door. He headed upstairs without even glancing back. It melted away as he let go of my arm. He doesn't seem very happy. What do you think? That night, 2 things happened. The first was Liu Ruyan set a deadline for me in the company group chat. A ridiculously demanding, urgent task. Finish a market analysis report that usually takes 2 weeks in just 3 days. The second thing was that I made a big plate of braised pork at dinner time. During dinner, I prepared a large plate of braised pork. Liu Ruyan stepped out of the room. With a blank expression, he carried off the whole plate of braised pork. The whole plate, including the dish itself. Su Baijiu's chopsticks were suspended in the air. My braised pork today doesn't include yours. Liu Ruyan turned her head away without looking back. It melted away after witnessing the entire scene. He shrank his neck. Do you think he's angry? Bai Ningbing gave a dramatic eye roll. I was sitting at the dining table. The only thing left on the empty seat before me is an oil mark. Yi Chengshe sent a message to the group from her room. My surveillance indicates that Liu Ruyan is currently in her room enjoying some braised pork. Liu Ruyan, when did you set up surveillance in my room? Yi Chengshe didn't set it up, I just guessed. Liu Ruyan, Yi Chengshe, guessed it right, didn't she? No one in the group dared to respond. I know, I need to take some action, but I have no idea what exactly to do. So, I ended up making a mistake. I gave He Chang a call. I think I really messed things up. Chang, a girl wanted me to play the role of her boyfriend, but another girl caught sight of it. That girl looks like she's really angry. Is that other girl the one you actually care about. That's pretty much it. Dude, this is what they call a hook-off in fishing. Can you spare me the fishing terms while I'm talking? Here's what you need to do now. You don't catch fish by running after them to explain. Explaining is just a way to cover things up. A cover-up is simply the truth. What you should do: act intentionally distant in front of her, spark his possessiveness. I don't think this is right. Believe me. Just pretend nothing happened. Just do what you have to do. Make him come to you first. That is how you catch big fish. I can't figure out why I once again took his advice. Perhaps it was because I truly had no idea what to do at that moment. So, I just acted like nothing happened. The following day, I went to work as usual and stayed late. I addressed him as Director Liu, like always. I pretended like everything was fine. The third day was no different. The fourth day was just the same. On the fifth day, Liu Ruyan stopped me in the corridor after work. Hey Director Liu, are you avoiding me these days? I am just going about my normal work. Is it really normal that you haven't even glanced at me in the office these days? Didn't you say we shouldn't act familiar at work? That is Article 38. He gave me a deep look. That gaze was really complex. There was a mix of anger and confusion, and there was something I just couldn't put into words. Are you doing this intentionally, or are you actually clueless? I can't really answer that question. If I admit it was intentional, then it means I'm accepting He Chang's terrible suggestion. If I call it really foolish, then it would just make things worse. I decide to remain silent. He turned and left. Choosing silence is obviously the worst option of the three. Later that night, when I returned to the shared apartment, the living room had an oddly enthusiastic vibe. Li Xia was sitting in the center position. Next to them are Bai Ningbing and Yi Chengshe, Su Baizhou, and Shen Yuchu. Xiao Rongyu is sitting at the edge, looking a bit guilty. Come sit at seat number 10. Li Xia pointed to the chair across from her and asked, "What is wrong?" "We've decided to help you." "Help me with what?" "We want to help you get back together with Sister Ru Yan," Su Baizhou said. "The atmosphere between you guys these past few days has been too terrifying. My win rate in games has dropped." "Where's the causal relationship?" "It lies in the atmosphere. The atmosphere affects how it feels." Bai Ningbing gestured for everyone to skip the small talk. "Here is the plan." In 2 words, their plan is dethronement. The detailed plan is as follows. Yi Chengshe will take charge on a specific night. Make sure not to trip the circuit breaker in the shared apartment. The second step takes place in the dark. Su Baizhou inadvertently suggested watching a horror film. Cast the screen using a mobile phone. In the third step, Bai Ningbing will ensure they are watching the horror movie. I am sitting next to Liu Ruyan. In the fourth part, Li Xia will say some game-changing lines at crucial moments. In the fifth part, Shen Yuchu is in charge of creating comic records. What is my role turning into? When I ask about yours, shut up. Yi Chengxi said that you are half responsible for this. Xiao Rongyu suddenly became honest. I initially wanted to say that this plan is utterly absurd, but the looks from the 6 people made me realize that I have no say in this. The plan is set to be executed this weekend in 3 days. At 9 that night, the power suddenly went out. Su Baizhou screamed first. Her performance was Oscar-worthy. "Everyone, don't panic. Let me check the circuit box." Bai Ningbing stepped outside, with her phone flashlight in hand. 3 minutes later, she came back with a serious expression. "I'm not sure what happened. The breaker tripped and won't switch back on. It may take until tomorrow for someone to come and fix it." In the dark, Yi Chengshe gave a vague chuckle. "What should we do?" Liu Ruyan stepped out from her room. She was also holding her phone up. "How about we watch a movie?" Su Baizhou raised his hand. "I can cast from my phone. I happen to have a power bank. A horror movie came out a couple of days ago. Stop watching it." Liu Ruyan immediately said, "That was too quick. The refusal came too fast." "Why is Su Baizhou blinking?" "You're not scared, are you?" "I'm not scared. I just feel like it's not suitable to watch at night." "Then let's watch it. After all, the power is out and there's nothing else to do." The 6 of them started to cheer. Outnumbered, Liu Ruyan finally found herself seated on the living room sofa. Then Bai Ningbing casually took a seat on his left. I found myself squeezed onto his right. The others were spread out on the carpet and cushions. The movie began, and it turned out to be a Japanese horror film. The first 20 minutes were okay, just some buildup of atmosphere. At the 35-minute mark, a horrifying face suddenly flashed on the screen. Su Baizhou screamed, and this time it was genuine. Shen Yuchu buried her face into the cushion, and Liu Yan instinctively grabbed whatever was closest to her. That turned out to be my arm. Her nails pierced my skin. It was painful, yet I stayed still. It took her about 5 seconds to realize what she had grabbed. Then, she hurriedly released her grip. I couldn't make out her expression in the darkness, but I could feel the air around her. The temperature has increased by around 2 degrees. At this moment, Li Xia softly said something. If you are scared, it is fine to come a little closer. Liu Ruyan clenched her teeth. I am not scared, but for the next 40 minutes, his shoulder and mine were touching. Neither of us leaned in or moved away on purpose. As the movie came to an end, Yi Chengxi, at a truly impressive moment, the power switch was flipped off. The lights turned on, and everyone acted as if nothing had happened. Everyone went back to their rooms. Only Li Xia said softly to me as she walked by. She quietly remarked, "You did a good job." I didn't do anything, and just smiled at her. Sometimes, doing nothing is the best way to handle things. A month later, the turning point happened. The company secured an important project bid. Liu Ruyan was in charge of leading the team. It started out as good news, but that pesky Wang Teng just won't leave us alone. His dad's company is one of our competitors in the bidding. To make matters worse, he secretly bribed a member of Liu Ruyan's team. He got hold of our proposal framework and made specific preparations ahead of time. 2 days before the bidding, Liu Ruyan found out our proposal had leaked. I'll never forget her expression at that moment. It wasn't anger, but a profound calmness that came after feeling betrayed. Tonight, the 10th, we're staying late to scrap the entire plan and start over. Everything. I gazed into his eyes. What is in there doesn't let me say I can't do it. That night, I stayed in the conference room with Liu Ruyan. We were there until 4 a.m. He is in charge of the strategic framework. I am in charge of the data model and the execution plan. In the middle, I headed back to my shared apartment to grab the charger. Yi Chengxi had no idea when she got the news. Before I got back to the office, I managed to prevent my plan from leaking. I heard about it. You don't need to ask. All you need to know is, if you require any technical support, such as the new plan for encrypting the leak source transmission, I can assist. I am keeping an eye on him. He showed no expression, but his tone was serious. Thank you. No need to thank me, Sister Yan. Though he may seem tough, he's actually a good person. I dislike it when people use such tactics against good people. This was the longest compliment Yi Chengxi has ever given Liu Ruyan. Back at the company, I implemented the technical plan that Yi Chengxi provided. Every transmission in the new plan went through an encrypted channel. The documents were watermarked. It was precise to ensure that each copy corresponded to every viewer. Liu Ruyan looked up when she saw these measures. When did you learn all this? Did your roommate teach you? He paused for a moment, then replied, Please thank him for me. When you get back, on the bidding day, our new plan was a hit. The overwhelming advantage secured the project. The old plan that Wang Teng obtained was completely useless. His team followed our old framework, made exactly the same thing. The judges could tell at a glance that the result was copied, because Yi Chengxi is buried in the old plan. Several extremely hidden Easter eggs. Only by comparing the two proposals can we discover. Wang Teng was removed from the project team by his father. It is said that someone received a scolding. The celebration dinner took place at a nearby restaurant, and the entire team showed up. It was rare for Liu Ruyan to drink alcohol. He can't hold his liquor well after 3 glasses of red wine. His face got flushed. We were the last ones to head out. He walked ahead of us on the way home. He was walking a bit wobbly. You've had too much to drink, so watch your step. You walk like you are slipping. It's just because the road is bumpy. This is the sidewalk where we took a break. He paused and turned to face me. His eyes sparkled, filled with alcohol and something more. Number 10. Why are you always caught up in something? Whenever something happens, you're always busy fixing things, working overtime. You are with Wang Teng. You are leaking plans. Do you live next to me just to appear at any time? I live next to you because the rent is cheap, she smiled. It was the first time I saw her smile like that. It is not the type of corporate smile you find in the office. It is not just the occasional grin that you see in a shared flat, but it is a truly genuine smile, completely unmasked. His eyes were crinkling, and his nose wrinkled a bit, as if the rent was a bargain. He said it again, and chuckled. You are quite ruthless, aren't you? He trailed off because he stumbled. I reached out to steady her. She leaned against my shoulder, not pushing away. By the time we reached the shared apartment, everyone else had already turned in. The lights in the living room are turned off. Only the moonlight from the balcony streams in. She stands before the glass door of the balcony. She has her back to the moonlight. Then, he did something that caught me off guard. She tiptoed and kissed my cheek, so gently, like moonlight resting on my skin. Then he stepped back and gazed at me. His eyes were clear, not at all, like someone who had 3 drinks. Didn't you just say I was too drunk? You're not drunk at all. I switched to grape juice, starting from the second cup. The waiter helped me switch it, and I was taken aback. You intentionally walked in a slippery S-curve. Number 10, before he interrupted me. How much more do you want me to be proactive? I gazed at her, Liu Ruyan, under the moonlight. There's no armor in the workplace. There's no mask of coldness in the shared apartment. Just a girl who has waited for a long time. As for Article 31, I said that one is null and void. When did that become invalid? I just chuckled. Then, I grabbed his hand. So now I'm officially telling you that I like you. Not because the rent is low. Not because you're my boss. Not because you look adorable sneaking cold cabbage at midnight. All right. I guess the last one counts as a reason. His ears went red. This time, I saw it clearly, and she said, "Shut up," but she didn't release my hand. Things progressed rapidly afterward, even though we made our feelings known to each other. But Liu Ruyan stubbornly insisted that we can't officially call ourselves a couple just yet, so we decided to keep it under wraps for now. This unspoken agreement continued. After all, we have to deal with both work and our shared apartment, 2 layers of relationships to manage. This secrecy plan lasted a whole 3 days. On the first day, we secretly held hands in the kitchen. Subaijo burst in looking for us. We split apart at lightning speed. Subaijo glanced at me. He cast a glance at Liu Ruyan. He checked where our hands were. He asked, "What are you guys talking about regarding the menu?" Liu Ruyan stayed cool and composed. "Do we really need to stand this close to talk about the menu? Is it necessary to see the pictures on the phone so clearly?" Subaijo approached, somewhat skeptical. The following day, I sat on the sofa watching television. Liu Ruyan was sitting next to me, looking over some documents. Our fingers were secretly intertwined beneath the cushion. Shen Yuchu walked past the corridor. She took a look at the shape that was bulging beneath the cushion. Her face turned bright red, and she quickly turned around and ran off. I really didn't see anything. I heard her voice coming from the end of the corridor. "You truly didn't see anything at all," Liu Ruyan called out. On the 3rd day, I went out to throw away the garbage. Liu Ruyan was waiting for me by the stairs. We seized the opportunity and shared a kiss when no one was around. Just then, the elevator door opened. Bai Ningbing stepped out. The 3 of us were facing each other. Bai Ningbing glanced at the space between us. She observed our expressions, looking at Liu Ruyan's slightly swollen lips. I understood. She said her piece and walked away without a glance back. The shared housing group blew up in just 10 minutes. Bai Ningbing officially informs everyone. 31 members have been eliminated, even though Sister Ruyan stubbornly claims he isn't the girlfriend of the 10th. However, there's definitely something going on between them. Subaijo. I knew it would eventually fade away. Finally, after 3 months of waiting, who owes me money? Ye Chengshe. Bai Ningbing is feeling the pressure before the new year. The one who resembles Li Xia the most. Congrats to Shen Yuchu for sharing a painting. The painting features 2 little figures holding hands. 6 cats are gathered around. Some are applauding. Some are munching on snacks. Some are snapping pictures. Liu Ruyan and I are at the staircase. We're watching the messages flood the phone screen. She turned the phone over and held it in her hand. Now everyone knows about it. At least it is just a shared apartment. You really don't get this group of people. In just 3 days, my circle of friends, their friend circle, even my mom will find out. Then, whatever, she gave me a quick glance. Then, surprisingly, she didn't argue back. That night, 6 of us sat in the living room. He made a very formal request for me to get ready for a relationship. What does it mean for the whole group when you sleep with Li Xia? Even though Sister Ruyan doesn't admit that you're in a relationship, but you've stolen her heart away from us, you have to pay the price. The price is to take charge of our weekend dinners for the upcoming year. Initially, we asked for 2 years. Bai Ningbing said that Sister Ruyan helped you negotiate it down to 1 year. I glanced over at Liu Ruyan. She was holding her coffee with a blank expression. It is already quite rare to have a year like this. Just accept it. You're not even going to back me up. Haven't I already helped you for a whole year? I glanced around and saw 7 faces. 6 of them were reveling in schadenfreude. One was pretending to be impartial. I said. Subaijo cheered right then and there. Shen Yuchu quietly set up a new folder on the iPad. She named it the Collection of Master Shai's Recipes. Yi Chengshe sent a message to the group. I recommend setting up a system to rate dishes. Dishes that score below 3 stars will automatically be removed. I require at least one French meal each month. The protein content of the Bai Ning Bing must meet the standards. Liu Ruyan is seated at the table. She cradles a coffee cup in her hands. He wasn't involved in the discussion, but I noticed that she was smiling. Not the kind of smile that feels forced or social, but a smile that radiates from her eyes. It is a soft, tender smile, like watching a lively, noisy family. I went over and took a seat beside him. Under the table, his fingers lightly touched my hand. It wasn't really a hold, just a light brush before he pulled back. But that brief touch was warmer than any words could express. The view outside the window is filled with the city's lights at night. From the kitchen, the sound of Su Bai taking out porridge from the fridge could be heard. Bai Ningbing is adjusting his diet, caught up in a debate with Yi Chengshe over whether French cuisine qualifies as Western food. Li Xia is laughing. Shen Yuchu is painting, paying a monthly rent of 1,200 for a 4-bedroom, 2-living-room apartment. 7 female roommates, each with their own unique personality. One who is forced to go from being invisible to becoming an all-around babysitter, and then from an all-around babysitter to a potential boyfriend. And a roommate agreement, from the original 37 clauses to now 42 clauses. The 41st clause was recently added by Li Xia last week. No excessive teasing of roommates is love, lives in the group. And the latest rule is the 42nd one from Liu Ruyan's place. If any of the housemates are in a romantic relationship, no intimate behavior lasting over 3 seconds is allowed in common areas. Anyone who breaks this rule will have to prepare all meals for everyone the next day. Su Baijiu commented below, suggesting to increase it to 5 seconds. 3 seconds isn't even enough for a hug. Liu Ruyan said, 3 seconds isn't an extra charge. I smiled and locked my phone. Kechang sent me one last message. So, you finally fell for it. I replied that it wasn't falling for it, but just going home. She sent back a fishing emoji. The caption says, even big fish say this. I didn't respond anymore because Liu Ruyan called me. What dish do you want to cook tomorrow? The 10th. I'll eat whatever you cook. He said this in a calm tone, as if he were stating a fact. When I realized he meant, I trust you, I got up and headed to the kitchen. Tomorrow will be a new day once more. The fridge contains half a cabbage, 4 eggs, and a piece of tofu. Just like when we first moved in.